whispers in the deep dark night.
Welcome to the AI Riff, where we cut through the noise and break down the top AI stories of the week with real talk and real relevance. No hype, no fluff, just a vendor-agnostic take on what's actually shaping your world today. Whether you're in tech, lending, or just trying to make sense of the headlines, we're here to separate the wheat from the chaff and the facts from the fiction. Now let's get this started with your hosts, Mario Diabenedetto, Rob Katz, and me, Kyle Myers. We hope you enjoy this episode of the AI Riff.
Can you believe it's episode 58?
I cannot believe it.
It's almost caught me in years. Almost.
Well, it has caught the number of counties in the state of California. 58.
And something I needed, thanks Mario, in my brain just got pushed out by that tidbit of knowledge going in. And
You're welcome.
I think that's enough that I'm Rob Katz.
You're out.
58.
I was going to use that 58 is the sum of the first 7 prime numbers, but that's just not as exciting.
That's like too heady for me. I like math, but I'm not a mathlete. On that note, what are we going to talk about today other than California counties?
Today we're going to piggyback off of the fact that Stripe, the company that takes credit cards, mostly digitally, is making a play to buy a company called OpenRouter, which is the largest AI router company on the planet. And they're potentially paying an incredible premium for OpenRouter. And the question is why? What makes something like OpenRouter, and there are competitors, we'll get into that, what makes it so valuable? And is it something that people should be, realizing that they need as a part of their AI stack, or is it just some esoteric thing that
So wait, just so I'm clear, this router company finds the cheapest or best to solve the solutions that you're trying to present to it. You're prompting AI to solve a problem or give you an answer or do something. It finds the best and or cheapest in token costs for you to accomplish that. Is that all it does?
Well, let's translate a little, because I'm gonna use some Cursor statistics. So Cursor also has their own way to do routing, including, as Rob has used himself. I've never used it, but Cursor has an auto intelligence. And you have to kind of know the models to get some of this. They say they can get Fable level output. So Fable is the highest Anthropic model at 60% lower cost, because they can pick things that don't require the best, fastest model, and they can put it to cheaper things. And they can basically do that up and down the stack of different models, and they can basically save whoever is doing it, usually a developer. They can save you money by realizing that question, that prompt doesn't require a massive trillion.
So it's a sense it's multi-threading.
No.
Without a cost, I'm just using multi-threading as an example. Just give me a second. Multi-threading without the same cost. You could pull a thread down here from a low cost because I don't need Fable to solve that. I could pull another thread from this other model and then queue in on Opus for my coup de grace.
Yeah. So let me pivot this a little bit and put it in terms that like a mortgage banker can follow along with. There's several models that everyone knows. There's Gemini, there's ChatGPT, and there's Anthropic. There's Claude, right? Those are the 3 big ones. And there's many more out there. We talked about them. Those are the 3 big ones that people know. In my day-to-day interacting with business folks, I'll hear somebody go, dude, have you used Claude Design to kick out a PowerPoint? Oh my God. But ChatGPT, I use that for writing all my blog posts. So let's just stop right there. Okay, that is 2 use cases: design a PowerPoint or write a blog post. Those are 2 different models. One is better at doing PowerPoints in this person's opinion, and the other is better at writing blog posts in this person's opinion. So I have a task that hits my desk. As a human being, I'm going to go, do I use Gemini? Do I use Claude? Do I use ChatGPT? I don't know. I think I've had good luck with ChatGPT. I'm going to use ChatGPT. All right, so that is a routing decision. I have 3 models I can choose from. For the task I'm going to do, I'm going to go pick which model I want to go do. What these routing companies do, and yeah, routing is a good word for it, but routing means so much in networking and stuff like that. So I'm almost disappointed that that's the word that we're coming in on, but that's what they're called. We'll say, let's take the human decision out of this. You just tell me your task. Oh, you're doing a PowerPoint? And the routing technology will go based on all the models available to us. There's more than just the 3. And by the way, let's pause. Within Claude, there's like 17 different versions now, and ChatGPT has 5.6, so, 5.6 Soul, 5.6 Terra, 5.6 If, 5.5. So there's within any given model, there's already options that you can choose from, minis and not minis and all that other stuff. There's no human on the planet that can keep up with which is the best model right now today to do this kind of task. So these routing platforms use whatever technology that they have, probably AI, and whatever metadata the models are sharing with the public, these routing technologies can go, oh, this request that's coming in can best be served by this version of this model and send it over there. What does best mean? Well, this is where things get interesting. Is best cheapest? Or is best, I don't care what it costs, it better be the best quality. So,
or it might be fastest.
Or it might be, that's right. Yeah, speed is killing me right now on some of these models, right? So as a user of this routing technology, I can set my preferences for these types of requests. I don't care how slow it is, it just better be good and cheap. Like, what's the triangle? You can get fast and cheap, you can only have 2 of them. So you get to set what you want for each of the different types of requests. And these routing platforms will remember that configuration for you and then make those decisions on your behalf, with the goal being every request you make will be responded with by the most appropriate model based on your configuration, based on what you're asking it to do. And very often that's going to be at the cheapest price. So that's what routing does. So does that help level set? So it's,
I'm thinking more along the lines, if you aren't just saying, I want a PowerPoint, you're saying, I'm doing a presentation where I need a PowerPoint as well as a extract for Power BI, and I need also artwork modified to do this. I need all these things packaged up into this big presentation package that I need to do. Plus, I need to write a narrative for the local newspaper, and I need to do this. Can you do all this for me? It goes out and then says, okay, I'm going to use these different models to do the different things based on what you've done for me, you want in the past, if you're optimizing speed, cost, or a quality, and depending on what it is. I mean, if you just need to get the phone numbers from the local Home Depot, well, guess what? It's going to use the cheapest model you can get, and speed is not really relevant because it's just getting a phone number. It's just going to come back anyway. Right. So right. I think I understand it, and I'm still not sure what's the price tag on something like this.
But that's the thing. So the model, the router itself is negligible in the scheme.
No. What do they want to pay? What is Pace? Who was buying it? The Stripe.
They wanted. It's north of 10 billion, I think.
Yeah.
So I think OpenRouter's latest raise was 1.5 billion, is what their valuation was, something like that. Yeah. And so it's whatever that is, 7x, 8x.
8x.
No. Yeah.
Let me go ask ChatGPT to do easy math.
Yeah, exactly. I
Isn't
can't
that
do math
13x?
anymore.
Isn't that 13 or 14x?
Whatever.
But anyway,
yeah.
One of the questions is why Stripe? Stripe is in the credit card processing marketplace. So why are they getting involved?
This is just like the coolest. Like, I never got it, and I started reading this. This is unbelievable. Like, when you explain this, it's like people's heads are going to explode.
Yeah. So if you think what Stripe is doing today, they are the broker in the middle of a financial transaction to the credit card companies, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discovery, and stuff like that. And they facilitate the transaction to make it as seamless and easy as possible. And they have a unified user interface. So when you go shopping at a farmer's market and you buy some local things and they're like, hey, tap my phone with your phone to pay, that's being processed through Stripe, right? They've got this, they have streamline the user experience and unify the user experience so it doesn't matter who the vendor is and it doesn't matter who the bank, credit card processing, ACH, whatever is, they make it simple. Ooh, didn't we just describe what a router does? Right? They're going to be in the middle of a transaction, and instead of dealing with dollars, they're dealing with tokens. And on episode, which one was it, Mario? 39, we talked about the value of tokens and how that's going to become the new currency of decisions that are being made. It's going to be based on AI tokens. Stripe is putting themselves again as the middleman of token transactions with a simplified, unified, least expensive flow to make stuff happen. It's a brilliant move. I didn't see it coming. Didn't make sense when I saw the headline. I'm sure it makes sense to me now.
Yeah.
So I thank you. That's a great explanation, and I see now the logic of it. But why? I still don't understand if it's a 20. If it's a 10. You said 10 billion. 10 billion?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, that's a lot of money for me, but for companies buying technologies, that's not a lot of money. I mean, Twitter was what, 45 billion? Right?
Twitter has 1 billion users.
Well, what does Stripe have? Oh, well, Stripe's the buyer. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
I don't know. How
What
many
is this?
users
What is this
there are.
OpenRouter or whatever? What do they have?
So let's think about it this way, and maybe this is part of the conversation, right? Is there going to be a router war, right? That this, because Cursor offers one, Ramp offers one, this auto mode is not something that is, my fundamental question to what you're asking, Kyle, is there any moat here?
I was going to say, why doesn't Stripe just go build a router?
Exactly.
Like, why would they spend 10 billion? It's not. They're not acquiring customers. They want to be the middleman between transactions, right? So
Anybody should be able to build a layer in front of the AI models.
yeah,
Right? Now you need the transaction model that you have to basically have enough capacity underneath for whatever the requests are coming through, which you're probably dynamically provisioning anyway, right? So if everybody moves over to Qwen, 3.7 Flash, because it's 1/10 of the price of Anthropic's Opus, then you have a lot of Qwen Flash.
well, and picture what the infrastructure for Stripe already looks like. I don't know how many millions of transactions per second that they're handling, but they're handling a lot of transactions internationally, right?
They are, and that part is a mode of sorts, right? Because the ability to handle that kind of scale, there are a limited number of companies. It's sizable number, but there's only so many companies who can really, really, truly do that. And obviously, the frontier AI model companies, they all can do it. The ones that aren't AI, that are in the kind of the top tech tier, can do it, but it doesn't go too deep beyond that.
Yeah, but there's nothing you can really do because this is a privately held company. Stripe's not on them. It's their own money. So what I was thinking at first, I thought, well, what did Stripe's stock do when they announced this? And it's like, they don't have stock. They're privately held.
Yeah.
And then I'm looking at their price, and they're worth about 160 billion. And I'm like, okay, 160 billion by 10, and then I guess they have a strategy. They want to buy PayPal. So they're like, this feed, according to what I just looked up, this feeds into that takeover bid for PayPal. So because of the capabilities, if they have this integrated. So it's like, okay, maybe it's a play to buy something they needed to build anyway, and then to take over PayPal. I don't know.
I would argue. So let's look. We are so bombarded with giant numbers that we're numb to them.
I know.
So let's level set what 10 billion is in $1 million. So how many millions is 10 billion? It's like
10,000.
$10,000 million. So I would argue that you could go hire 20 of the top engineers and pay them
$1 million a year.
$10 million each and say,
Okay.
you guys have 90 days to build a router. And in 90 days, you'll have a router as good as the one that they're about to buy for 10 billion and not have spent 10 billion, right? Like that's the part that is challenging my brain. And I'm just going to put it out there. The deal is not done, far from being done. may never get done. And they may have just announced it, like you said, to disrupt whatever's going on with PayPal. There's a million reasons why they would do something that this extraordinarily ridiculous of a number to put out there type of thing. Although some other company bought Cursor for $60 billion and it wasn't worth $60 billion. So again, these giant numbers are being thrown around right now as part of the AI bubble that's going to burst one day, or we're all going to laugh or cry that we weren't involved in it early on because these numbers seem big now, but they're trivial 10 years from now when they're really, massive, right? Type of thing. So
I love it that Rob couldn't even say the company that bought Cursor. It was funny. He didn't want to give him advertising.
So I run a company. Let's say I'm a mortgage lender, and my tech team or my tech vendor that I rely on is like, we really need to put in a router here. It's going to save us a crap ton of money. Do I buy it? Do I say, yeah, that makes sense, and I'll foot the bill, or do I hold it now?
That is a great question. I'm going to answer with, I need to understand, lender, what your current AI utilization is. What are you doing with it?
Mm-hmm.
How often are you doing stuff with it? And what are your expansion plans to do it? If it's trivial, well, my marketing team writes emails and blog posts and it scans my salesforce.com and helps me find leads, blah, blah, blah. Probably not. But if you're starting to get your bills from OpenAI and from Claude, and instead of $200 a month or $2,000 a month and then $10,000 a month and $15,000, then you're a heavy user, well then yeah, pulling in a system that's going to optimize. And you know what? I actually don't even know what these pricing models are for a router. They could be taking 0.01% of your token costs.
They could, yeah.
In which case, it's a transaction fee. You're not going to feel it. And if they're saving you money, they're paying for themselves. That's got to be what their ROI is going to be. Like, look, yeah, we're going to cost you $1,000 a month, but we're saving you $10,000. You're like, well, yeah, I'd spend $1,000 to save $10,000 every day, right? So, and you could turn it on and try it. If it doesn't work, you can turn it off. It's not like it's not a long-term thing. So yes, I would say that based on utilization, if your AI spend is real, then you should consider using a router to try to control what that real spend is.
And I just want to remark, even the numbers you cited are relatively low, to be honest. Like, if you're running AI as part of a normal operation, generating a $10,000 AI bill today is not actually that hard. Yeah. If you're doing transactional AI, right, where every time somebody hits something, it's also hitting your tokens, right? You get to that number relatively quick.
That's right.
Yeah. I mean, so it's all your tolerance for pain. I mean, if this can help you take a 10,000 and bring it down to 9,500, is it worth it? Maybe, I doubt it. It's probably got to be more of like a 10, 15, 20% decrease in your costs at a 10,000. But if you're talking about $100,000 a month, well, any 5% is still, that's a big chunk. That's a chunk you can save every month. That's paying for, whatever. It's not, I want to say it's paying for another person, but actually the AI replaced that person. So, it's just giving you the benefit back from not having to hire a person.
Yeah, I'm going to push back a little bit, Kyle. Let's go back to if it's going to save you if you're spending 10,000, it's going to save you 500. Is it worth it? It depends on what it costs. If it costs me $1 and I can save 500,
no, but it's not about the cost. It's about the change, about introducing the change to your process or to a tool that people are used to using, and now they got to use the router tool, and it's like I don't know.
So, but let me take the other side of that, right? From a programmer standpoint, that's a good thing. If you could have hot swappable different models that could perform the same result, and the only difference is price, I love putting the router in between me and the models, right? The router is now the obfuscation layer that says, I don't care what's behind it. As long as I prove that it works, the cheapest model is great, right? And I just basically hedge the entire market on what they charge us.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm gonna dogpile on top of that one. Little personal experience here. So my environment has been ChatGPT, custom ChatGPT is my architect, Cursor is my developer, right? I've been running into, for the past 2 weeks, technical challenges with ChatGPT where it basically stalls on my prompts. I get disconnect errors. I get pop-up messages of you're working too fast. You need to step away for a couple of minutes type of thing. and it has impeded my ability to do my job. So I took my custom instruction set for my ChatGPT architect and I repurposed it in Claude as a custom project. So I'm now using Claude as my architect. I still have my 7 other employee, quote unquote employees or ChatGPT ones, but at least as my architect. And I'm going to say that its performance is more stable. I have run into a couple of like, I got to hit refresh type of thing to bring it back, but it's been more stable. I actually like its personality. I think it's as good of an architect. Proof will be in the pudding once I get some of this stuff done, but it's following the same instruction set. So it's doing pretty good. Like I haven't seen it go off the rails.
Well, and
I would agree with you, Rob. I like using Claude, and I did use ChatGPT. I got to a point where I felt like Claude was better at the coding part. I felt it was better.
It is better at coding, but I'm not using it for coding, right? So go ahead.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Here's the negative side, right? I made it sound like it's easy for a programmer. I could just hot swap. There's a thing called evals, right? Proving that one model or a new version of a model behaves the same after you switch.
Yeah.
On something, let's just use an example of you're a doc classification AI, something relatively simple today in AI terms, not extraction, not all the complexity, whatever. It just does document classification. And you've seen 100,000 or 1 million documents, and you want to go to a lower priced model. How many of those documents do you have to rerun through and make sure they come back exactly the same before you say, yeah, it works just as good? Like,
in episode 32, we talked about the whole what happens when they change the model. It broke my software. It broke this. Well, if you've got a router that's constantly using different criteria to select how it's working, how do you consistently get the results you want? You have to put the guardrail in to say only use Opus.
Or that's the value of the router.
Yeah.
Right? As soon as the next model comes out and everyone starts complaining about it, the router goes, "Oh, we're not going to use that one anymore because it looks like shit." Right? So that's part of what you pay for with a router.
Yeah.
And I'll just say my experience so far, creating evals is hard.
Yeah.
It's not only hard, they're hard to not only create, it's hard to run. It's hard to, it's a lot of work to put in evals. And I'm sure at scale, when the frontier model companies do their own, they have tools that make it, incredibly easy. But man, trying to do it on your own homegrown AIs, it's a lot of work. Yeah. All right. I'm going to give you guys an exit question. What are the odds? I'm into the odds lately. Sorry. I'm Kalshi. It's going to be on Kalshi tomorrow. You're going to be able to bet on this question.
Okay.
What are the odds, I'm liking by the end of the year, that at least one of the US-based frontier models puts something in place to make it so that other generic routers can't jump in and out of them?
I'm not sure I understand it. They'd be excluding themselves from the router selection?
They would. You can't make me part of a pool, right? You can't make my AI just another AI like everybody else. The way you talk to me has got to have some signal, something different, something that says, I know you're not a router, so that you aren't going to hot swap off of me as soon as you decide you want something cheaper.
So I'm gonna flash back to.
Don't say episode 34.
To 30 years ago.
I don't want to remember that episode.
No, 30 years ago or 25 years ago. Optimal Blue, formerly Sullen. Sullen comes to market as this pricing engine between the brokers and the lenders to figure out what the prices are. And they had a really tough time getting lenders to share their rate sheets because they're like, well, I don't want to have all that competition and stuff like that. Until there was a tipping point of usage when the lenders were like, well, fuck, if I'm not in your system, I'm not getting loans. And then it was so there was a pivot point for Optimal Blue when things turned. So what's interesting here is what you're proposing is right now it's open, everybody's in it. And is there going to be a point where somebody goes, I don't want to be in this thing? And I think that
because the pivot point is the other way, right? They're losing all their business to the lower priced models.
Yes.
So the idea is, do they put something in that says, I got to find a way that I can't be easily swapped in and out?
I don't think by the end of the year. Your caveat was the end of the year. I don't think so.
I think the only way that a frontier model would be in a position to exclude themselves from routers is when they offer something that is so unique and valuable that people would be willing to
It's a great example.
continue to work with them. But if
It's a
they're
great
just
example.
if they're just a frontier model, then
Yeah.
all right,
Yeah. You
great.
can call my,
Then you're not getting my business because these two other guys are great at doing my business, right?
you
So,
can call my base model all you want through the router, but you can't call my,
medical-
PowerPoint generator, my
my-
image, whatever, this thing that only I do, and I am the best. I know I. But if you're the best, then aren't they calling you anyway?
Well, it's kind of like Southwest Airlines was never on like Travelocity and all those others. You had to go to Southwest Airlines website to get. I don't know if that's still true.
It is not true anymore, bastards.
Yeah. So they gave up on that, and they obviously lost market. They obviously lost some revenue from that, or were going to lose revenue if they didn't get on.
No, that's not what went down with Southwest. That was a private equity came in, forced to change, and it all had to do with they needed to be able to sell different levels of seats and charge for baggage. It was in Southwest Airlines reservation system didn't know how to charge for seats, so they went onto the platform that's now owned by Google, which is why Google Flights has everybody's flight information. Is the reservation system that knows how to price by seat and tiers and legs and all that other stuff.
So the value prop became we had to do it because we have to be able to do this function, right? So they came back.
The private equity firm that bought Southwest thought that they would make more money. That they thought they were leaving $1 billion a year on the table by not charging.
That's
for
what I said. They saw the revenue loss on the books, going, hey, wait, we got to get this money. We can make more money if we get in there with the rest. That's the opposite of what we're talking about. We're talking about you're saying someone would exclude themselves from the current router situation, and they'd say, nope, I don't want to do that. I'm just not seeing. Definitely not this year, but I'm not seeing where that's a real big benefit to anybody. And again, even if they did have if they had a proprietary solution that was really good and everyone knew it, wouldn't the router automatically give it to them anyway?
All right, Kyle, put your money where your mouth is. Tomorrow on Cowshy, question's going to be there. If you believe, go ahead.
So Mario, I have a question. Both you guys, I don't know the answer to this. I don't think anybody outside of the frontier companies knows the answer to this. We don't know the margins based on models. So it could be that we know that they're losing money on everything right now, but so ignore that part of it. But what if they made more money? What if OpenAI makes more money off of 4.1 mini than they do off of 5.6 Sol? They don't want your easy questions going to Sol because they're making more money off of 4.1 mini, right? So the routing could actually really, maybe the real answer is they don't exclude themselves from being exposed to the routers, but they game the system so that the routers are leveraging their higher margin models more often than not.
So, and maybe it's a variation on that same idea. Maybe it's just they just want a certain volume across all of their models, because back in episode 13, early on, there was this whole idea that the main frontier models were simply trying to make it so that the second best model that's on the market was generating enough revenue to pay for all the investment they were doing to make that one that was just coming out.
That's right.
And then they were just leapfrogging every time. And now, to your point, they have 3 or 4 stacked. So it's really just, what am I making off the whole stack?
Yeah.
I just need to give them enough so that they use me all the way across the board, and I get enough. I don't really actually care about individual margin as much as I care that I got enough to pay for that new data center in your backyard.
It'd be interesting if somebody watching this pod comments, other than something about clowns outside the tent or dorks, can talk about how the routers really work and what are the models exposing to the routing companies to let them know how to make those decisions and where to route things and stuff like that, because that's outside my pay scale. I don't understand.
So I promise when we do Inside the Riff, our Substack, we will get into that.
Okay.
Well, I think I've made my statement no before the end of the year. Rob, are you a yes or a no?
Not before the end of the year.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a no too. I thought it was being provocative. Yeah.
Hey, before we wrap though, I do want to make one other call out. in one of our earlier episodes, and I don't remember the number of this one. We've
Yeah, by the way, don't go off the numbers we give you if you're referring back to look at an old one, because we're just making it up.
We talked about one of the coolest new positions being created with this whole AI thing are the experts who understand how to build and configure the spine for an organization. How do we deploy it? How do we govern it? How do we pick the right tools? How do we get the transparency that we need and all that other stuff? The router play fits right into that, right? It's one more tool in your spine of your technology stack for using AI, and it's not a decision you make it's not an ROI decision independent of itself. Oh, yeah, we're going to start using routers because we can save 10%. You have to understand where it fits into your big picture, and you have to have a technologist expert who knows how to bring it into your stack so that you're taking advantage of it the right way. So people who have the skills and the knowledge of how to control this spine, this is yet one more proof that that is a job that is in high demand, and you may not know that you need it, but you need it as a business.
Yeah.
Okay. We need more spine. On that note, I'm Kyle Myers.
I'm Rob Katz.
And I'm still Mario Di Benedetto.
Yep. I knew you were. And this has been the AI Riff.
Wires hum like whispers in the deep dark night. Shadows dancing strange under neon light. Digits spinning fast like a gambler's hand. The clock chimes change, it's the new command. Oh, the future calls with a voice so clear. A melody of progress in every ear. No turning back, the wheels in motion. A tide of cold like the endless ocean. Binary prophets riding fading streams. Data flows like rivers fueling all our dreams. Simple or savvy, it's all the same path. Under skies of innovation, we redraw the map. Oh, the future calls with a voice so clear. A melody of progress in every ear. No turning back, the wheels in motion. A tide of cold like the endless ocean. Set the rhythm to the beat of change we sing. Every click and hum a key that rings. A revolution, quiet, but it's vast. Building empires where echoes of futures cast.